So what is going on, everyone? My name is LittleMarMan, and today we are going to be discussing an exciting, interesting, tiny snippet of quotes from the map of Shadows of Evil and how they relate to the future and past of the Call of Duty Zombies storyline. It's definitely interesting, and we're going to get straight into it. So if you do not know, we have 4 characters in the map of Shadows of Evil. 5, if you include the Shadow Man. 1 is Nero Blackstone, also known as the Magician. He is voiced by Jeff Goldblum, but that isn't too important. What is important is more what he says, and if you have played as him, you have heard some of his quotes, and a lot of them are crazy, a lot of them are weird, and that is probably why he is one of my favorite characters, if not my favorite character from this map. And sort of some of the things that he says, you can actually connect to the past of zombies and you can project it onto the future of zombies, and that's what we're really going to be talking about. So yeah, without further ado, we're going to get straight on into it and start off with our very first quote, and probably the most important quote of this video, and one that has probably jumped out to you when you heard it for the very first time. And a lot of people are discussing it, but not many people are explaining it. Let's have a listen.
Nikolai would have been proud of me.
So yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory that Nikolai is known by Nero, but we don't know whether Nero is known by Nikolai. Like, does Nikolai actually know who Nero is? There is no actually physical connection, no physical bond between them. It's more that Nero knows who Nikolai is, and he's never actually met him, because if you listen closely to the actual quote, then you can hear that Nero actually stutters Nikolai, as if it's not really first nature. He's never actually met him firsthand. It's more second nature. He hasn't actually met him. He's more just seen him and more so dreamt about him.
Nikolai would have been proud of me.
So how do we know that Nero was actually dreaming about Nikolai? Well, it's actually said in the map by Nero himself. He says he has vivid dreams, and he dreams of content that he's read or glanced at in this special book, and this special book is actually interacted with for a step in the Easter egg. It's sort of Nero's book, a book forced on Nero by the Shadow Man, and the Shadow Man actually came to Nero's dreams and sort of interfered with them and twisted them, and then sort of brought the book into the realm, and sort of then brought our characters into his own realm, his own personal playground, which is what we actually play the map in. And how do we know that the Shadow Man actually sort of interacted with Nero and his dreams? Remember, Nero was in a coma for about 2 months before Shadows of Evil, so that was the perfect time for the Shadow Man to strike. Now, at first, Nero actually denies interacting, reading, glancing, anything to do with this book. He denies it all, but then slowly admits more and more about it as you progress more and more with the Easter egg, which we'll get back to in just a second. But for now, I'm going to let you listen to a few of those quotes.
This is a room of secrets. Do you know what I speak of?
So, you're talking about some book, like it might explain all of this?
Yes, Detective. I've read many books, but forgive me if I don't remember the precise details of one specific book.
What book?
This was the one book that I was afraid to read, the one book that gave me nightmares. Even now, I just can't.
So this is where it's all written down. How these guys fought those guys for their guy shit. Yeah, I get it.
If this book says what I think it says, this fight ain't over yet. Even if we can't fix things, we can at least show them we ain't pussies.
This is all familiar. This is something I've seen. The undead, the huge squid thing, all of this. Oh! It was in a book. The book will show us the way. It foretold everything.
So this book definitely foretold everything. It'd be really nice if we knew what it foretold, if only one of our characters had actually read this, got some information, and sort of maybe even quoted it. Well, luckily Jessica is a fast reader. I'm going to let you listen to what she actually reads aloud.
I'm a fast reader. Blah, 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 blah. For 2 millennia, the Keepers kept the forces of darkness at bay. Their power is always dormant, just waiting to be awoken, just as it was on the battlefields of the Great War.
So Jessica actually talks about the battle between the Keepers and the Shadow Man and how this is ongoing and their power is always there. So we can definitely expect to see the Gatekeepers in future maps and possibly even the Shadow Man, or maybe it's just going to be the Gatekeepers defeating the evil forces of whatever Treyarch decides to spring upon us. And as she goes on, she talks about the Gatekeepers being at bay, being actually there alongside the battlefield battlefield of the Great War. The battlefield of the Great War, of course, was northern France. The map of origins where our 4 original characters, Takeo, Nikolai, Dempsey and Richthofen, all were trying to free Samantha during 1918. So our story of origins is written about in this book, and Nero Blackstone read this book. He dreamt about the content that was in this book. So therefore, that is how Nero Blackstone knows about Nikolai. He read about him, dreamt about him, and of course dreamt and read about the map of origins. And of course he even talks about Maxis in the following quote.
Is this related to the guy in the jar?
Obviously, Maxis's brain was put into a jar and then into the Maxis drone, so that's what Nero is actually referencing. So you actually got an Origins reference and what you came here for, obviously to find out how Nikolai is sort of in Shadows of Evil. So yeah, that is pretty much it. I hope you all enjoyed, hope you all learned something. Smash that like button if you did enjoy, and I will see you all in the next video very, very soon. Peace out, thanks for watching.